Hello, good morning. Good morning on the East Coast. It's the witching hour in LA. And it's 5 p.m., almost 6 p.m. in Tel Aviv. My name is Brian Jennings. This channel is dedicated to processing my pathological case study of a relationship in clairvoyance with Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is a psychic voyeur, right? Who jumps into the minds of all the actors that he puts in his films, right? And after I heard him at the Tribeca Film Festival last year, right, he entered into a campaign for some 4 months, 5 months, to attempt to overwhelm my mind. And when I turned all of his tactics on him, and of course, not by his way, right? By God's way, right? Because it's God's game, right? He stole my wisdom and has taken palpable steps with his mind to attempt to destroy my body. And so I'm mailing a letter to the Pope today, and I've informed everyone that knows that he has, right, he has escalated this to, right, engender divine retribution. It's ridiculous, right? That he, right, that he looks at his children who need him, who depend upon him. And I suppose he's just a sadist. He's just a masochist. He says, oh, they'll be fine if I die, if he thinks about that, but he doesn't. He's so fucking arrogant. He thinks his money saves him from God. Am I saying that I'm God? No, that's not what I'm saying. Am I saying that everything is God? That's it. You got it. And so we're talking, I've written a novel, right? We're reading through the novel, right? Talking about the nature of reality. We're talking about the nature of our relationship, right? Right? I could have been a movie star, right? But, right? Instead, I'll be the guardian angel of the world. I betray no master. So, right? We're talking about it. I live in perpetual fear that he's gonna send someone to kill me at any time. And he fucks with me constantly. Right? And I guess he's just going to, until he pays me. I don't know. I'm mailing my lawsuit to William Morris Endeavor overnight to the Los Angeles County Superior Court, 9355 Burton Way, today. And hopefully they'll get back with me, soon. I don't, who can say? But before we begin, I'm going to read a little bit from William Faulkner, The Sound and the Fury. Father said a man is the sum of his misfortunes. One day you'd think misfortune would get tired. But then time is your misfortune, Father said. A gull on an invisible wire attached through space dragged. You carry the symbol of your frustration into eternity. So, what is he talking about? That the mechanism of life is constantly moving. Right? It's going from A to B, from Genesis to Exodus. Right? I suppose that he named the book The Sound and the Fury, of course, because of Macbeth. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And I would guess that, much like Macbeth in that moment, it is his treatise on nihilism and the futility of life. It's a very graceful book. I see why it's a big deal. And lastly, before I continue on the novel, I'll say I have a Substack. I reviewed The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari yesterday, and I'm going to try to review a movie every day. Again, it's all about bringing the public into the conversation. Right? This isn't about money. Right? This isn't about, right? Who cares about money? Only base people. Right? This is about elevating our understanding. Right? This is about bringing the public into the conversation. Right? To rein him in. Okay. Constant fear. Constant fear. I had to lock the door. So, the book is called Building a Coven. And I'll pick up where I left off. The shows have passed. I was feeling peculiar when I got a text message from a girl I had been spending time with. Alex, her name is. She informed me that she had coronavirus, and that I probably had it too. She is right. I have been trying to drive to Los Angeles, where I intend to live now, but have been so lethargic it has taken me nearly 3 days to drive 3 hours. I'm stopped at some desert shithole gas station between. I've now been in Los Angeles for going on 3 months. I stayed in various hostels in Koreatown, then slept in the truck, before whoring out my good name and borrowing $1,000 from people who care for me. It was a mistake, I can tell. I don't make enough money to ever pay them back. I have a harder time than most getting a job, being not of this world. But eventually I got a job washing dishes, 4 minutes walking from the shoebox I pay $1,200 a month for in West Hollywood. All of my money goes to the rent and feeding myself, but the commute is worth a lot to just stroll down the street. It is the only time I've had such a luxury. I work maybe 4 shifts a week, 8 hours. I am writing the rest of the time. My roommates run the gambit. 3 guys. One Iranian coming by way of Vancouver. A shy, genteel, artistic writer type. We discussed Death of a Salesman. He was reading it. I hadn't considered it much, though I've known what a big deal it is for a long time. One of the great parts. He ruminated on reading things in native languages, and it saw something similar in me. The idea. He is often having loud phone conversations at odd hours. He's written a tragedy about a woman who escapes, but inevitably returns to her arranged marriage. Real gut-wrenching shit. It could be good. It probably is not. I didn't ask, he didn't offer. The second, sharing a room with the first, a hollow, sad, angry, ill, would-be reality TV star douchebag Jersey Shore type jerk. Another Southerner. He yells violent things in the room about killing and other wild, ill sayings. My first night there, he kept inquiring if I had stolen his wallet, and recalling how my wallet was lost last summer. After telling him nicely twice, I told him to fuck off, not in so many words. But he stays over there, I stay over here. The third, I think he's a Southerner too, though I'm not sure. He has the master on the opposite side of the living room. I think he sells drugs. We've talked of crypto, music. He also plays guitar. And though motivated to different ends by different ambitions, we have this connection. Writing as well, but gun to my head, he's hustling something. He's brought a pretty ugly stripper from wherever home is, named Memphis or Mercedes or something equally eye-rolling. He told me he was bringing a girl. Seems she got the best end of that deal. I wouldn't say I'm close with any of these people. I've taken to volunteering with a non-profit tutoring company, 826LA. It's super easy. Even if, as elsewhere, I fit myself a square peg into the round room's hole. The kids are all nice, and they have it really structured. It is about writing. They write stories. Recently I was invited to a book signing at the place in Echo Park. Didn't know the author, still don't. But I'm interested in listening to writers, so I went. Upon arrival, there was like 5 people there, and the author was one of them. I stood around for maybe 15 minutes, before sitting for another 10, before taking my free copy and making my escape. Black female author. I think the book, has something to do with superpowers. I don't expect to read it. It seemed too flimsy. I was interested in hearing a writer talk about literature, not standing around while the author waits for more people to show up. My depression is getting the better of me. Again, I feel trapped by the monotony of forced routine. Money, the pursuit, the tedium of it all. I don't mind washing dishes. It affords me the ability to have a safe place. But when my congenial nature compels them to ask more of me, I become frustrated and feel trapped. I quit yesterday. I pick up my last check tomorrow, which will allow me another 2 weeks' rent. I don't know what's next. I hate jobs. While considering my options, I weighed my strengths and decided to go to the Santa Monica Pier and play guitar. I learned 3 new songs and made my way there. I was unaware of the permit system, though I was not accosted by the police, and made around $50 in a few hours. I guess I appeared to belong. I suspect I will be sleeping in the truck before long. The summer's apex. This time last year, I was lost in the serenity of the high alpine. Now I'm lost in the concrete jungle, sleeping in my vehicle, scraping by barely, singing on the pier. Having no amplifier greatly restricts the public's ability to hear, and therefore diminishes my income. Though it is obvious I am the best musician on this pier. I've taken towards learning a new song each day, and though it is likely 4 or 5 songs a week, my catalog is now broader than ever. No repeats, no fixed sets. Most of these motherfuckers play the same 4 songs over and over. Upon the recommendation of another performer, a paraplegic guitarist-singer, in truth, if the critic flares, he is ear rape of a kind, if wholehearted and sincere. I have purchased a mechanical typewriter, and have taken to writing sonnets, 20 a pop. Some of them have been good. Mortimer the Falcon I liked very much, real pretty young girl. Her mother kept telling her she should marry me. It was a little awkward, as I am a bum. But my heart broke all the same. From Connecticut, I think. Others paid begrudgingly. These are my juvenilia. I've taken to reading Plato. Apology, Symposium, Crito, and Meno. Diotima's wisdom to Socrates must be most excellent. And the trial shows stubborn, honest men have often walked a difficult path. It really does read like they executed him to be rid of his pesky ethical standards. First time reading, I see why he, Socrates, is a big deal. The Meno's explanation of a square with an area of 8 is sublime. Drawn by a slave with a stick in the dirt. Information and knowledge are 2 different things. Knowledge leads to wisdom. Information leads to categories. Everything is falling apart. I am dedicated to this idea that there is something beautiful inside of me, but I can't seem to make it work. I know I feel at ease while writing, singing, playing guitar, but money. I don't buy into social media. I did it for a time, but now I feel it steals something from me. 6 years sober, further deepening my alien condition. The payment for my breathalyzer is due in a few days. I will not have the money to pay for it. If I cannot pay it, the truck will not start. It will get towed. The most frustrating part being that I should be able to have it removed in another month. Everything is chaos and shit. My output has never been more prodigious. But I still have yet to figure it out, my place in this alien world, where I belong, to whom I lay my allegiances. With the exception of a handful of writers and musicians, I often lament that all of my heroes are long dead. I've now been on the street proper for a time. I have learned much. I've always been interested in too much to be very good at being homeless. I bought a wagon and loaded it with 30 pounds of books, my typewriter, my guitar, a table. I was a blazing beacon of ignorance to the vultures all around. I took to sleeping in a burnt-up bramble patch a ways down Palisades Park. It was never safe, but I could stash everything fast. It worked until it didn't. One night, after playing guitar all day, 7 hours, I hauled everything back, and just as I got settled, a crowd emerged all around. And as they circled the wagons around me, I took all the money out of the guitar case, took what I could in my bag, my typewriter and my computer in each hand, and left the wolves to consume the carcass. I heard someone crawling through the bushes. I took that as my cue and bolted. I walked, lugging all that weight across town, and ended up around the exposition stop on 18th. And eventually, more shifting side steps. I jumped a fence, and the guy living there escorted me out with a baseball bat. I told him. He sympathized and said fuck off. I found myself at a classic LA apartment building. 4 apartments with garages underneath, 2 sets of stairs on the ends leading up to a balcony and the 4 doors. A bicycle crashed to the ground. One of the wheels rolled slowly as a man climbed the opposite stairs to accost me. I dashed down and shuffled as fast as I could. He didn't seem to be doing anything beyond waiting for me to gas myself, like a mouse in a snake's cage. I ended up in the cemetery and abandoned the typewriter, being too heavy. I escaped with my computer and backpack, jumping a wall to emerge on the sidewalk opposite the entrance. I went back the following morning, and the typewriter was gone. This was my baptismal. I left the beach after losing everything I had to make money with. I spent all of my time in West Hollywood and Beverly Hills writing in the library. Bumming it. Food stamp life. On my birthday, I told myself I was going to write all day. And though I was typing, I gave 14,000 words. I have no doubt most of it is trash. Around the same time, I decided to learn to be or not to be from Hamlet. It seems to have unlocked something in me. Always, almost always, while reading a great novel, I take lines to memory. And with Shakespeare, I saw what an actor is. I said, okay, I'll read all of these plays and take something to memory from all of them. And now I'm plugging along, still in the comedies of the first folio. I have not really listened to any. It is pure literary intrigue for me. I'm sure I'll crack any day. I took a job as a janitor at Pepperdine University. Graveyard, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., 40 hours a week. It got me off the street. I shared a room with 3 other people. The second bedroom makes 7 or 8 tenants in a 2-bedroom flop house in Santa Monica, a stone's throw away from where I absconded with my typewriter those months ago. I take the train from my place to downtown Santa Monica, where I catch the 34 bus to Malibu. In the evening, it only runs once an hour, and though it does run at 8, I always take the 7 o'clock bus. With the walk, I don't mind arriving a little early. I've met a young girl named Luna. Very pretty. 20. We like each other. She was reading 1984, and I asked her how it was going. I saw her again soon. She doesn't drive. She plays guitar. We have much in common. She is an actress as well. Played Beatrice. I suspect she is far too beautiful for me. I clean the art building, 4 floors. I can usually finish it in 5 hours or 6, and then I can sleep or write. I often recite Shakespeare while vacuuming. I vacuum a bunch of floor every night. It is a tedium, to be sure, but solitary. And so I'll stop there. Right? So, again, right, it's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino in the movie Critic, right? I reviewed movies in protest after I wrote him a bunch of letters, and he thought it appropriate to say nothing to me. Right? He set me up last year at a screening of Jackie Brown. Again, there's 500 people that were there. Right? And when he turned his back on me in that moment, I turned my back on him. Which again, sure, it was my initiation. Oh, I failed the telepathy test. Right? Right? So, but now it's degenerated into real evil. Right? Right? Now it's just sick. Right? It's just this sick pathological condition. Right? Rooted in nothing but evil. Right? But that's the last, as far as the writing is concerned, right? And we're approaching halfway right now. There's still over 200 pages left, 250 pages. So that's the last. You ready to go outside? I gotta let my dogs out. So pray for me, pray for Quentin, right? God bless, right? See what's good in your life, right? Uplift your soul to God. Don't debase your soul, right? Help bring this to an amicable resolution. Like, comment, subscribe, share. God bless.